Welcome, have a nice day. Today is Sunday, 19th of May 2024. From the history point of view, on May 19, 1536, Anne Boleyn, the second wife of England, is King Henry VIII, was beheaded after being convicted of adultery. In 1780, mysterious darkness enveloped much of New England and a part of Canada in the early afternoon. In 1921, Congress passed and President Warren G. In 1904, Jamshedji Tata death anniversary. The man who saw tomorrow, May 19, is the death anniversary of the Jamshedji Tata, the founder of the Tata Group and a renowned Indian entrepreneur, philanthropist and industrialist. So starting the newspaper analysis with the newspaper The Hindu states that hundreds of pro-Palestinian protesters rally in Washington to mark a painful present and past. Protesters chant pro-Palestinian slogans on the National Mall on the 76th anniversary of the Nakba on May 18, 2024 on the National Mall near the Capitol in Washington. Hundreds of protesters have rallied within the site of the U.S. Capitol, chanting pro-Palestinian slogans and voicing criticism of the Israel and American governments. Hundreds of protesters are rallying within the site of the Capitol, chanted pro-Palestinian slogans and voiced criticism of the Israeli and American governments as they marked a painful present, the war in the Gaza, and passed the exodus of some 7 lakh Palestinians who fled or were forced from what is now Israel when the country was created in 1948. About 400 demonstrators have braved steady rains to rally on the National Mall on the 76th anniversary of what is called the Nakba, the Arabic word for catastrophe. In January, thousands of pro-Palestinian activists had gathered in the nation's capital in one of the larger protests in recent memory. The Hindu newspaper also states that Israeli leaders split over the post-war Gaza governance. Palestinians carry body of the person killed in the Israeli strike on the house aimed the ongoing conflict between Israel and the Palestinian Islamist group Hamas in Jabalia refugee camp in the northern Gaza Strip, May 18, 2024. Mr. Netanyahu came under the personal attack from the defense minister Yoav Gallant for failing to rule out an Israeli government in Gaza after the war. New divisions have emerged among the Israeli leaders over the post-war Gaza's governance, with an unexpected Hamas fightback in the part of the Palestinian territory, piling pressure on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The Israeli army has been battling Hamas militants across the Gaza for more than 7 months, while also exchanging near daily fire with the Iran-backed Hezbollah forces along the northern border with Lebanon. The Hindu newspaper also states that Chabhar, India's gateway to Central Asia. In the latest agreement, India has promised an outlay of $120 million and a credit line of $250 million to further develop the port. The project, which was launched in the early 2000s and saw sporadic progress over the years, mainly due to the geopolitical reasons, caught a booster last week as India and Iran signed a long-term agreement to further develop and operate the port. Before partition, the town of Chabhar, earlier known as Tiz, was right at India's doorstep, situated in Iran's Sistan, Baluchistan province, where the Panchatantra was once read in Persian. Entitled Kaliya wa Dimna, and Hindustani Urdu is understood and spoken commonly, but ties between independent India and Iran before a 1979 revolution were never very close, given the Shah's United States tilt to India's non-alignment push. In 1970, it was the Shah who first conceived of developing Chabhar. He even planned a United States submarine base there, given a salubrious weather and the fact that the one port was Iran's only such foothold in the Indian Ocean, strategically located just between the Gulf of Oman and the Strait of Hormuz. The Hindu newspaper also states that militants killed 1 and injured 2 in separate attacks in Jammu and Kashmir. A woman treated for her injuries after a terrorist attacks at a tourist camp in J&K's Anantnag district on May 18, 2024. According to the police, terrorists fired upon a injured a lady and her spouse in Anantnag's Yanar area. The police identified the victims as Farha and Tabriz from Jaipur. The injured has been evacuated to hospital for treatment. Police and security force say coordinate of the spot while attack took place. In the news world, stated that nearly 1 in 4 candidates contesting in the 6th phase in the West Bengal are crorepati's. TMC workers hold a Kent party flag during an election campaign for the Lok Sabha in Horwa district on May 18, 2024. Actor turned into politician and two-time TMC MP Dave is the richest candidate in this phase in the state with the declared assets of 37 crore rupees. The BJP has the highest percentage of crorepati candidates in the ferry in the 6th phase. Out of the 79 candidates contesting in the 6th phase of the ongoing Lok Sabha election in West Bengal, 21 candidates have assets valued at more than 1 crore rupees. Data compiled by the non-profit Association for Democratic Reforms ADR shows 7 of the crorepati candidates are with the BJP, 6 of them with the Trinamool Congress TMC, and the 2 of them are candidates of the Communist Party of India, Marxist CPIM. According to the affidavits filed before the Election Commission of India, ECI, whereas nearly 1 of the 3 candidates in the 6th phase is self-declared crorepati. This phase also includes candidates with some of the lowest assets valuation declared across all the phases of the general election in the West Bengal. Now going towards the Hindustan Times newspaper states that Odisha memories of 2008 riots longer in election season in Kandhamal. The 2008 riots claimed 43 lives and destroyed thousands of the houses and the churches in the Kandhamal district. On August afternoon, 16 years ago, a Skant Naik, a Dalit Christian teacher, saw his house being torched by a mob at G. Odiagiri, a block in Kandhamal district of Odisha. His wife was hiding in the bush nearby froze in horror as their semi-pucca non-motor roof house to motorcycles and all belongings burnt before her eyes. Even as the murdering mob advances, the 74-year-old teacher recalls how his wife, their son, daughter-in-law, and the 2 granddaughters, 2-year-old and the 2-month-old, ran for their lives to a hillock a kilometer away where they hid without food and water for the next 3 days till they were rescued. Sometimes also states that Free Palestinian slogans in Assam's Remembrance Rally erupts controversy. Silchar. A controversy erupted in the Assam Silchar on Friday evening after the Free Palestine and Stop Killing in the Gaza slogans were raised during a rally conducted in remembrance of the 1961 language movement in the Park Valley. People in the 3 districts of Park Valley observe Bhasa Sahit Divas, Language Martyrs Day, on May 19 every year. Indian Meteorological Department issues red alert for severe heat across the North India. Mangeshpur in northwest Delhi was the hottest place in the capital at 46.8 degrees Celsius, followed by 46.7 degrees Celsius at the Najafgarh. Later was the warmest location across the entire country on the Friday, when maximum touched 47.4 degrees. New Delhi heatwave conditions prevailed over Delhi and NCR for the second consecutive day on Saturday, with the national capital recording a season high maximum temperature of 43.7 degrees at Safadarjung, which was 0.1 degree higher than the Friday maximum. Clear skies and dry westerly winds led to an uncomfortable Saturday, with the Indian Meteorological Department issuing a red alert across the region. Weekend rallies by Prime Minister Modi, Rahul Gandhi raised elections heat in Delhi. Campaigning for the Lok Sabha polls reached a fever pitch on Saturday, with both Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Congress leader Rahul Gandhi holding the rallies in the national capital, while polling is due to the 6th and penultimate round of voting on May 25. From the business point of view, from what to try when unemployment is high to trust is must, Godrej speaks out in poetry. brilliantly saying the state of the Indian and global economy and throwing up questions on employment and show slow manufacturing growth. Godrej Group's Nadir Godrej spoke out with his poetry. From PLI to labor laws, Godrej touched upon several issues at the question and answer session after the Chief Economic Advisor V. Ananta Nageshwaran addressed the Confederation of the Indian Industry CII's Annual Business Summit 2024. Need to reconsider such cessation of F&O trade to safeguard household savings, CEA Nageshwaran. Speaking at the CII's Annual Business Summit 2024, Nageshwaran noted that whenever a financial sector development precedes national development, the story has not ended well for the other countries as well. The Asian crisis of 1997-98 is a very important example, he said. Nageshwaran said there is no need to consider such cessation of F&O trade because it requires different financial literacy. Equity option boom, retail frenzy, a growing concern as such a cessation option plans draws in younger investors from small towns. Last year, Indian investors trade 85 billion option contracts, more than anywhere else in the world, having overtaken the United States in the volume of the annual trades just before the pandemic. That the Nifty 50, the National Stock Exchange's benchmark index, has been hovering around its lifetime high, has helped the options boom. Industry must gear up for lower tariffs, looking at further easing of FDI norms, DPIIT Secretary. Secretary said that the government, however, aims to correct any duty distortion that has been impacting manufacturing as India and is looking to improve its ease to doing business ranking and increase India's share in the global trade, which is currently 8% despite being home to the world's 17% of the population. Average tariffs in India jumped to 18.1% in 2022 from 13% 8 years ago in 2014, which resulted in uncompetitiveness among the Indian industry compared to the countries such as Vietnam, Thailand, and Mexico. Now going towards the world news, including 6 Pennsylvania students among 19 pro-Palestinian protesters arrested during the attempt to occupy building. Former South Africa leader Zuma promises jobs and free education as he launches party manifesto. Israel pushes into new parts of northern Gaza, recovers another slain hostage. Ukraine's divisive mobilization comes into force as a new Russian push strains frontline troops. Houthis his Panamanian flagged tanker with a missile off Yemen report. United States demands China to come out with the wire boats of Python Llama. Going towards science and tech, we have when the Earth passed through the tail of Halley's Comet. Halley's Comet is a photograph at the Astrophysical Observatory at Kodaikanal in 1910, showing the bright head of the comet. It is funny when you think about the fact that the Halley's Comet is named after an English astronomer who lived in the 17th and 18th century. Despite having been spotted and observed for 2 millennia. In fact, this astronomer is considered the discoverer of the comet. Even though he certainly was not the first human to take the note of it. The astronomer in the question is an Englishman, Edmond Halley, who was also a mathematician and a physicist. In addition to being an astronomer, he succeeded English astronomer John Flamsteed as the second astronomer royal in Britain in 1720. Can humans get H5N1 infection by consuming raw milk? Almost all the human influenza virus infections are primarily respiratory infections, unlike in some other mammals where gut infections have been reported. Even while no case of H5N1 infections in humans has been reported after the consuming raw milk, scientists believe that the virus can be transmitted via an infected cow's milk that has not been pasteurized. The lone reported human case in the current outbreak in the cattle spread across 49 herds in the 9 states in the United States has been a dairy farm worker who had direct exposure to cows and developed conjunctivitis. The Altana-based CDC has advised people to desist from consuming uncooked dairy food, Products such as raw unpasteurized milk or raw cheese from the animals with the suspected or confirmed H5N1 bird flu virus infection. Women with no sexual autonomy twice likely to get STIs study. When women who had controlling husbands had experienced intimate partner violence in their married life are more at a risk of developing sexually transmitted infection (STI) or reproductive tract infection (RTI) than the women who do not report facing control or intimate partner violence (IPV) in their marriage. A new study reveals. The value of attributing extreme events to climate change. Explained. People walk through the dried up catchment area of the Menkara Dam in Palakkad, Kerala, May 3, 2024. While no farmer cost-benefit analysis of an attribution exercise has been reported, many experts have argued that attributions are critical for the loss of and damage process. Just a couple decades ago, the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change (IPCC) argued that the individual weather events could not be attributed to climate change. The science has since evolved, albeit with all its attendant uncertainties, and now we are regularly hear of researchers having been able to attribute some individual extreme events to climate change. At last, there's a famous quotation said by Nelson Mandela, whose full name was Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. Born on 18 July 1918 up to 5 December 2013, was a South African anti-apartheid activist, politician and a statesman who served as the first president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999. He was the country's first black head of the state and the first elected in a fully representative democratic election. His government focused on dismantling the legacy of apartheid by fostering racial reconciliation. Ideologically an African nationalist and a socialist, he served as the president of the African National Congress Party from 1991 to 1997. Nelson Mandela says a famous quotation. He says that a good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination. Okay, thank you.